Welcome everyone. Join us today on the riveting journey of rock and roll icon Stevie Wright. From his soaring heights of fame with the Easybeats, to the depths of addiction and despair, his story is one of creativity, resilience, and artistic brilliance. So let's dive in. Stevie Wright, born Stephen Carlton Wright on the 20th of December 1947 in Leeds, England, to parents George and Dorothy Wright. At the age of 9, Wright migrated to Australia with his family. They settled in Melbourne for a brief period before relocating to Sydney in 1960, residing in Villawood near a migrant hostel. Stevie's passion for rock and roll began early, leading him to front local bands like the Outlaws and later Chris Langdon and the Langdells in the early 1960s. Initially a shadow-style surf band, the Langdells transformed into Beatles clones after being introduced to the Beatles' music by their friends, the Bee Gees. Wright crossed paths with Hendrikus van den Berg and Dingeman van der Slies, two Dutch immigrants, while singing with the Langdells at Susie Wong's Disco in Sydney in mid-1964. They were forming a new band and shared Wright's enthusiasm for the Beatles' music. Already acquainted with fellow Villawood resident and guitarist George Young from Glasgow, Wright introduced him to the group. After trying out several singers, including John Bell from impending band The Throb, the band found their ideal frontman in Wright. With drummer Snowy Fleet joining after a chance encounter on a train, the band was complete, and the Easybeats were born, paying homage to their musical influences. Wright, earning the nickname, Little Stevie Wright, due to his youthful appearance and stature, would stick with him despite later preferring to be known as Stephen. Securing a residency at the Beatle Village Club, the Easybeats caught the attention of music publisher and producer Ted Albert. Under Albert's Albert Productions label and a deal with EMI, Parlophone, their debut single, For My Woman, in 1965 reached number 33 on the Australian charts, followed by the smash hit, She's So Fine, which soared to number 3. Their performances often incited intense fan hysteria, akin to Beatlemania, earning them the nickname, Easy Fever, by the Australian press. Their second single, the energetic, Wedding Ring, released on August 26, 1965, also climbed the charts, reaching number 7. Their debut album, Easy, released on September 23, 1965, showcased original material penned by the group members. Vocalist Wright and guitarist George Young co-wrote 8 of the album's 14 tracks. The subsequent single, Sad and Lonely and Blue, returned to a blues-based feel but fell short of the top 10, peaking at number 21. Both Wedding Ring and Sad and Lonely and Blue appeared on the group's second album, It's Too Easy, released on March 24, 1966. Lead singles Women Make You Feel Alright and Come and See Her propelled the group back into the top 10, reaching number 4 and number 3, respectively. The songwriting duo of Wright and Young also crafted hits for other artists, including Step Back, a chart topper for Johnny Young in 1966. In early 1966, while still touring Australia, manager Mike Vaughan secured a recording contract with United Artists Records in New York City. Before relocating to London, they recorded a farewell TV special titled The Easybeats, for the 7 network, known as the Coca-Cola Special. The group left for the UK on July 10, 1966, with Albert Productions releasing an EP titled Easy Fever in August, reaching number 1 on the Australian singles charts. They followed up with the album Volume 3, in November of the same year, featuring the chart-topping single, Sorry, all penned by Wright and Young. In London, the band recorded several songs at EMI's Abbey Road studios with Ted Albert, but United Artists Records found them unsuitable and replaced Albert as producer. They then worked with freelance producer Shel Talmy, known for his work with The Who and The Kinks. United Artists felt the band's songwriting was too unsophisticated for the UK market. The label had released the Wright-Young composition, Come and See Her, as a single in the UK on July 15, which didn't perform well. Dutch-born Vander, now a stronger English speaker, replaced Wright as Young's songwriting partner. After considering various options, the producer Shel Talmy chose Friday on My Mind as the band's next single. Recorded at IBC Studios London in September, the song featured Wright on lead vocals. Released on October 14, 1966, Friday on My Mind became a major international hit, reaching number 6 on the UK charts. It topped the charts in Australia at number 1, and also charted in multiple countries including Canada at 13, the US number 16, as well as Germany, the Netherlands, and France, selling over 1 million copies worldwide, and earning a gold record. Wright stood out as one of the most captivating performers in the local music scene, renowned for his signature stage moves such as the flying tambourine and acrobatic leaps. His dynamic presence and natural showmanship influenced countless singers who came after him. In March 1967, the Easybeats released Who'll Be the One, but it failed to chart in the UK, though it reached number 14 in Australia. The band toured Europe with the Rolling Stones before releasing their album Good Friday, titled Friday on My Mind in the US. Drummer Snowy Fleet left due to family commitments, and the band recorded Heaven and Hell, which also struggled to chart in the UK but reached number 8 in Australia. Tony Cahill replaced Fleet, and the band toured the US with Gene Pitney. They recorded Falling Off the Edge of the World, in New York, and The Music Goes Round My Head, back in London. Their softer sound with Hello How Are You reached number 20 in the UK but alienated some fans. Vigil was their second album for United Artists, featuring a mix of recent singles and unreleased material. Land of Make Believe reached number 18 in Australia, while Good Times featured Steve Marriott and Nicky Hopkins, impressing even Paul McCartney. However, their instrumental B-side Lay Me Down and Die fared poorly on the Australian charts. As 1968 progressed, tensions arose within the band. Substance abuse played a role, but the growing autonomy of Vanda and Young as a creative force was equally significant. The duo, adept at multiple instruments and studio techniques, began working independently, writing extensively and producing their own material. Reluctant to tour extensively, only reconvened sporadically for live shows or studio demos at Central Sound Studios. In 1969, the Easybeats left United Artists and Albert Productions to join Polydor Records. They recorded their first single for Polydor, St. Louis, in London's Olympic Studios with producer Ray Singer. While it didn't chart in the UK, it reached number 21 in Australia. Around the same time, the band severed ties with manager Mike Vaughan. Vanda and Young set up a home studio in London to produce demos, leading to the release of the album, Friends. In September, they embarked on a final European and Australian tour, facing challenges due to changing music trends and the release of unauthorized demo recordings by Albert Productions. Their last performance was in Orange, New South Wales, after which the band disbanded. After the dissolution of the Easybeats, Wright ventured into various musical and non-musical pursuits. In 1970–71, he joined the Sydney group Rochette, performing at the Odyssey Music Festival. He also co-founded the label Musical Expression and produced Bootleg's debut single, Whole World Should Slow Down. To support himself, Wright took on diverse jobs, including as a process worker and sales staff at a boutique in Sydney. In late 1971, he briefly joined the rock and roll revue Like Fun in Perth before returning to Sydney in 1972 to join the band Black Tank, which led to an appearance on the Auntie Jack Rocks on TV special. In a surprising turn of events, Wright made a triumphant return to the spotlight in mid-1972 when he landed the role of Simon Zelotes in Harry M. Miller's acclaimed Australian production of Jesus Christ Superstar, directed by Jim Sharman. His electrifying performance, backed by the stellar Superstar house band, showcased his rock prowess and stage presence, reminiscent of his Easybeats days. This stint, lasting 2 years, garnered him rave reviews and a spot on the original Australian cast album released by MCA Records in 1973. However, this success was bittersweet as it coincided with his descent into heroin addiction, eventually leading to his departure from the show in late 1973 to early 1974. In late 1973, Wright signed with Albert Productions, reuniting with former bandmates Vanda and Young, who had returned from the UK to work as staff producers and songwriters. He formed Stevie Wright and the All-Stars for live performances, featuring Johnny Dick on drums, Tim Gaze on lead guitar, and Warren Morgan on piano. In April 1974, he released his debut solo LP, Hard Road, featuring the single, Evie, Parts 1, 2 and 3, written and produced by Vanda and Young. This 11-minute epic became a chart-topping hit and is now considered an Australian rock classic. Wright headlined 3 triumphant concerts on the steps of the Sydney Opera House. These landmark shows featured a special band lineup, including Harry Vanda, George Young, and AC/DC's Malcolm Young. It marked the first live performance together for the 3 former Easybeats since the group disbanded in 1969. In 1975, another Vanda and Young produced LP, Black Eyed Bruiser, was released, but it failed to chart in the top 50. By mid-1975, the All-Stars had transferred to singer John Paul Young, and Wright formed the Stevie Wright Band with Tony Bolton on drums, Aesop's Fables, Country Radio, Larry Dourier on percussion, Russell Johnson on guitar, Billy Rylands on bass guitar, and Peter White on keyboards. In 1976, Wright was battling serious addiction, reportedly initiated during his time in the cast of Jesus Christ Superstar. Seeking treatment, he was hospitalized and underwent methadone therapy. However, his mental health deteriorated following his self-admission to Chelmsford Private Hospital. There, psychiatrist Harry Bailey administered controversial deep sleep therapy, a combination of drug-induced coma and electroconvulsive therapy, purportedly to treat addiction. Because of this, Wright and numerous patients suffered brain damage and long-term effects. The scandal was eventually exposed, and Bailey tragically committed suicide. In 1982, Wright collaborated with Vanda and Young in their project, Flash and the Pan, lending vocals to their album. Talks of an Easybeats reunion surfaced that year, with Wright mentioning negotiations and interest from venues, though plans fell through due to venue changes. In 1983, discussions of a solo album emerged, also involving Vanda and Young. Described as classy rock and roll, the album was said to reflect Wright's life experiences, with optimistic love songs in the mix. Despite anticipation for a release later that year, the album never materialized. In January 1984, Wright faced charges of attempted housebreaking shortly after his stay at the Westmount Drug Rehabilitation Center. He was arrested for heroin use later that month, which according to Wright himself, he battled for 20 years. The Easybeats reunited briefly for an Australian tour in 1986, while Wright formed variations of the Stevie Wright Band from 1986 to 1988. His substance abuse issues persisted through the 1980s and 1990s, bringing him close to death multiple times, but he found support from his partner, Faye Walker. In 1999, journalist Jack Marks published a highly anticipated biography titled, Sorry, The Wretched Tale of Little Stevie Wright, which received critical acclaim from some reviewers, while Australian music historian Clinton Walker hailed it as gonzo journalism at its best. The book was dismissed by Wright, also his fans, and other critics, describing Marks as a self-serving hypocrite. In 2001, The Long Way to the Top documentary was aired by the Australian Broadcasting Corporation. It featured interviews with Harry Vanda and Johnny Young, highlighting their experiences in the music industry. In August 2002, a concert tour of the same name was organised, with Wright performing Evie while seated due to an ankle injury. Recordings from 2 Sydney concerts were aired on ABC TV and later released on DVD. Wright's authorized biography, Hard Road, The Life and Times of Stevie Wright, by Glenn Goldsmith, was later published in 2004. On July 14, 2005, the Easybeats, with Wright as a member, were inducted into the ARIA Hall of Fame alongside Renee Geyer, Hunters and Collectors, Smokey Dawson, Split Enz, and Normie Rowe, a well-deserved honor for both Wright and his bandmates. On January 31, 2009, Wright headlined the Legends of Rock Festival in Byron Bay, performing songs like Sorry, I'll Make You Happy, Evie Part 2, Friday on My Mind, She's So Fine, and Wedding Ring. He was interviewed by Kim Ferguson for the Macquarie Regional Radio Works program Sunday Groovies on February 11, with Wright reporting that 2009 was an exciting and busy year with new material and previously unreleased tracks expected. Personally, Wright was previously married to Gail Baxter, with whom he shares a son named Nicholas. At the time of his passing, he had been in a long-term relationship with Faye Walker, who had supported him in overcoming his addiction issues. Reportedly in ill health, facing kidney and liver problems, he had retired and was living on the south coast of New South Wales before his passing. Sadly, on the 27th of December 2015, Wright passed at Moruya Hospital due to pneumonia. He was 68 years old. His funeral took place at St Andrew's Cathedral in Sydney on the 8th of January 2016. And there you have it. As the curtain falls on the captivating chronicle of Stevie Wright, his legacy burns bright in the hearts of music lovers around the world. Though he may have left the stage, his music lives on, a timeless reminder of the power of passion and the resilience of the human spirit. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content just like this. Take care and bye for now.